Hello, this is Hot Indonesia, and welcome to all of you watching us in Sao Paulo. I'm Dalton Tanonaka in Jakarta, and here is this week's HI Hotlist. Coming back, vaccinations are working, protocols part of daily life. Is the pandemic over? Handouts HARAM, why a major religious group says giving money to street beggars is forbidden. And breakfast fusion, what's the big deal about the Croffle? Here are my co-hosts. Billy Luquito is CEO of the Mobiliati Group from her home in Jakarta. And sitting in for Sandrina this day is Linda Ibrahim, writer and business consultant in Jakarta. Hot topic number one, coming back. Indonesia welcomed a new milestone this week in the fight against COVID-19. The government says more than 200 million vaccine shots have been given, with nearly 40% of the targeted population fully vaccinated. New case numbers remain low. The death rate also the lowest in months. Have we beaten the pandemic? Ladies, I say yes. Here in Indonesia anyway, masking has become a regular part of life, tracing apps as well while entering public spaces. If we keep on track, Millie, I believe the worst is over.
Yes, Dalton. And Indonesia has reached the much needed herd immunity. And with 200 million people vaccinated, I believe we are safe to assume that this pandemic will soon be an endemic.
And, because we have to be careful, and I want to talk more about being vigilant. The government expanded vaccinations to children this week, and that's a major relief for parents. Linda, are you satisfied with the numbers and the protocols being practiced?
For the situation right now, yes, much better than the last time I spoke here about the pandemic, I think about 6 weeks ago. I think we're doing much better on the vaccination numbers, and also the declining numbers of deaths and positive cases, and the positivity rate, which are really the three numbers you have to look at. However, as far as saying that the pandemic is over, I think I will hold my opinion until right after the Christmas New Year's break. I know the government has canceled the Christmas and New Year's long break, but there are ways to get together and travel. So by January 2022, hopefully there will not be another spike, and if that is proven to be so, then that will be the day when I would be comfortable to say that we're past the worst part.
Okay, now to be clear, the government here didn't cancel Christmas. There are
a
lot of Santa Claus lovers who will be upset. Yeah, the extra days off and the holidays, that's what they canceled. Okay, you mentioned the holiday season coming up, and Millie, I believe you will be in the U.S., over the holidays. There is fear of another spike, the third wave of COVID in this country. What must we do, the government and the public, to prevent that?
Yeah, but I think, first of all, we have to learn to live together with COVID. It will be around for the next 5 years or even longer. But I think it's safe to say this pandemic, Linda is right. If we can pass this holiday seasons safely, the pandemic will then become an endemic, which means that COVID will always still be around. But don't let us forget that the medication for COVID has already been found and will be in retail places in the month of February. So I think it is, again, safe to say we are now going to be in a much safer place in regards to COVID.
Yeah, Millie, you mean a pill, an oral pill has been developed to help treat COVID, and that's coming out and approved by the government and other places in the world. Well, but specifically, Millie, what must we do to prevent that return, the numbers increasing as we did after the Lebaran holidays?
Yeah, but unlike the Lebaran holidays, whenever I see people in Indonesia now, around the country even, people all over, from the grassroots to the middle class to everybody, they now understand the safe protocol. They all wear masks now. and they understand what social distancing is. So Indonesian people are always known to be a little bit undisciplined, but this time we are actually united in fighting COVID-19. So I think we should be able to face the holiday breaks. And yes, there is always a threat of the third wave, even probably the next wave and again. But I know we will be safe now to live together with, quote unquote, with COVID-19.
Yeah, Millie, you're right. It took a while for us here in Indonesia to get it right. The delay in getting the delay in strict lockdowns, for example, and also the making vaccines more available. Now, Linda, you lost family members to this virus. And again, condolences to you and your family. What have we learned about public response and human nature these past 2 years?
Showing their true colors. The people who have been disciplined will show that they are disciplined throughout the pandemic. The people who are used to think that they can just shrug off warnings and precautions will be the ones who are proven to do that. You know, that's just my take up so far. Unfortunately, I've seen that happening around me when you take something for granted and then you don't think that you'll be the ones unlucky enough to get it, then you actually got it. And half of the time you don't make it. So unfortunately, pandemic has shown the true colors of people. And that also applies not just on the attitude towards the pandemic, but also attitude towards the suffering that has happened with pandemic. Like for example, when I lost a handful of family members in the extended family, and there are people who I know who just jump to my aid and like, well, how can we help, and with the grieving process and everything as well. But there are people who just like, oh yeah, so sorry, I heard you, what happened? Like, it's amazing how the pandemic, with the stress that comes with it, has made people to show their true colors. It's almost like I can write a book about it. I'm sorry if I'm not being so eloquent about it. I didn't expect this question. But yeah, that's to sum it up. The pandemic has made people to show their true colors.
Yeah, no, I understand perfectly, Linda. And I think Millie also made a good point where, yes, you go around, people are fully masked. I mean, other countries, they're already unmasking because their vaccines and their immunity levels have passed us because we were late to the game, as I said. But finally, Indonesians got it, and now let's keep it so we don't have to go through what we went through before. Okay,
well, amen to that. Amen to that, seriously.
Hot Indo will continue shortly with Handouts Haram, why religious leaders say giving money to beggars is forbidden.
Saya ingin mengumumkan kerjasama dengan The Indonesia Channel. Saya mendorong semua entitas untuk bergabung dalam upaya ini dengan mempromosikan produk dan layanan mereka di platform digital yang unik ini.
Welcome to Foodiepedia. Every week in this program, I will introduce you to one of Indonesia's fabulous food items. Yummy. Beautiful. Now, I'm ready to cook. Let's go to the kitchen. It's done. Let's meet to eat.
Foodiepedia on the Indonesia Channel.
I'm Trần Minh Ngân of VCCN Net Việt in Hanoi.
I'm Thairat Thomya of Thailand's Thairat TV in Bangkok.
I'm Monica Sambodet from the National Television of Cambodia in Phnom Penh.
I'm Raymond Go of Malaysia's TV3 in Kuala Lumpur.
I'm Glenda Chong of Singapore's Channel News Asia.
I'm Raisa Chantami of the Indonesia channel at the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta.
This is your weekly look into the dynamic Southeast Asia region.
ASEAN Today on the Indonesia Channel. The best of Bali, only on the Indonesia Channel.
You are watching Hot Indonesia with Millie, Linda, and me. Hot topic number 2, handouts haram. Like in other parts of the world, street beggars are part of the urban scene here. But the South Sulawesi chapter of the Indonesian Ulema Council, the MUI, issued a fatwa this month saying giving beggars money is forbidden. The major Muslim group said it creates dependency and bad character. Now, the pandemic didn't help the problem, of course. Linda, the fatwa is both for the receiver and giver. It's not a national decree yet. Will you follow it?
Here's the thing. First of all, I kind of understand where they're coming from because it's a well-documented fact. If you go through the news as far as 15 years ago, there's been reports about syndication of beggars, like professional beggars and all that. Police have arrested them over and over in different parts of Indonesia. So I kind of understand where that came from, the fatwa. Whether or not I will follow the fatwa is another matter. I believe that there are necessary fatwas on very difficult matters, and there are infantilized fatwas. Things like this, adults can decide on their own if they believe the beggar standing in front of them is a true beggar or not, and whether or not they're going to give handouts. I don't approve of infantilized edicts, religious edicts or even lawful edicts. I don't believe in any state, so that's my take up on that. I don't always give. Have I been tricked by professional beggars in Jakarta? Yeah, I grew up here. Since I was a kid, I've been tricked so many times, and that's how I learned. But then every now and then I still give out, but now I have found ways to do that. I'm becoming very professional in behind my car on the street, knowing, this is a professional beggar or this is not.
Yeah, you kind of figure it out after living here. But you mentioned the deeper problem, which police and other social agencies are worried about, and that is the exploitation of beggars. As you mentioned, Linda, the adult groups have been known to send out packs of children, particularly children, to the streets, and then they collect most of the money, giving the kids only a small amount. Now, Millie, I'm sure you've given to the needy, correct?
Yes, correct. But the street beggars are usually young female, and they are carrying babies or small children, and I can never say no to them, But this should be made illegal by the authorities because for young females...
It is illegal. It is illegal in most places.
Yeah, but it has to be enforced, and because their places are at home or studying and not begging for money. It's very, very unsafe for them. So all approaches, be it from the religious group, calling it haram, or from a social point of view or legal point of view, should really be enforced.
Yeah, like any other crime or committing of a crime, police must maybe make an example. They can't do everyone because there are street beggars on every street corner. they have to make one and then publicize it, and then people will be scared, but then they'll come back in a couple months. The MUI says that it's better to give to organized and reputable charity groups, which is always good advice. That's safer. But Linda, sometimes you just don't feel the money when you give to a big group filters down to the people on the streets who really need it.
That is true. I've also learned some of my lessons. And only recently, I think the past several years, that I've found groups that I know would actually channel my money through. There's a very good foundation. What they do is very clever. Instead of asking for money, what they ask is they're asking for your unused belongings. They hold stores. I've been to the stores, and they sell, whatever you give, and then the money goes through the orphanage that they manage nearby. And I think that's one of the clever ways to do it. Instead of asking for a money handout, they actually put an effort themselves, because it does take an effort to hold your belongings, to sell it in the store, and then to channel the money to the. That's one group I like. I've been giving a lot of stuff to them over the years. And then I also found good orphanages. I'm actually, instead of giving a big number of money during charity season like Ramadan, I actually give smaller amounts but consistently throughout the months. Because here's the thing, bills come every month. Their electricity bill and their food bills and all that. And then I found out that they like it that way better. That they know that every first of the month there will be a certain amount of money coming from the donors, so they can settle their monthly bills. But again, it took a lot of learning. Have I been tricked by giving money to false organizations? Yeah, I have.
Yeah, every sector, every business has the people who are less than honest, and hopefully we don't repeat our mistakes. Let's be clear. There are regional laws on the books that forbid begging throughout this country. But Millie, social workers say that with this religious edict, this fatwa, it may also help discourage the practice.
Yes, it is good actually, because the fatwa is well respected. But at the end of the day, the authorities on the street itself, namely the police, they have to be hand in hand in enforcing this, because otherwise people might think they are part of this as well.
Okay. Let me ask you guys this to wrap this up from a practical standpoint. Now, the Christian holiday season is coming up, and many people will feel more in the mood or spirit to give. From a practical experience, let's start with you, Linda. How do you tell the difference? What are signs that it might be someone really in need as opposed to an organized syndicate?
If they're always on that spot, through the years, then
years.
Yeah, because I mean, I've come to actually know some of the beggars. Like it's always standing on that corner. Then that's probably the professional beggar, because the new beggars, you could tell if they're the one really falling on their bad luck. They still have their clothes. They're not faded yet. They just come and they look confused. They actually look confused. They can tell, they don't even know how to ask for money and everything. If their clothes are actually still unfaded, and it means they're on the street very new. But if they're on that street corner for years and the social service hasn't got around to take them, then they're probably the professional beggars.
And you wouldn't give to them. Okay, Millie, any tips from you? Who do you give and who don't you give to?
Well, I founded and I run and manage 2 foundations ever since 2009. So most of our CSR are distributed through these 2 foundations. And our 2 foundations are both based in providing education to the poor. So basically, those are the 2 main ways
for you to do it. Yeah, but I meant on the street. I think you're kind of a soft touch, Millie, and that you would give anyway, even you're not sure, right, whether they're legitimate or not. And all of us feel that way. We want to help. It's just that the organized ones cause the harm to those who really need it. Okay, more hot Indo is ahead. Breakfast fusion, the latest trend, involves the croissant and the waffle.
I'm Caitlin Turner, and welcome to Yoga Bliss. Dropping your hands to the mat, just step it back and out and up to the side. Up through your fingertips. Reach your right hand back behind your head. Let your hands separate forward and then start.
Yoga Bliss, only on the Indonesia channel.
Playlist.
Semuanya perasaan rasa cinta ku persembahkan untukmu di dalam lubuk hatiku. Tolong lihat aku dan jawab pertanyaanku.
You are watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Hot topic number 3, breakfast fusion. It was invented in 2017 by Irish pastry chef Louise Lennox. The Croffle takes normal croissant dough and cooks it like a waffle, making it lighter and flakier, they say. And it's caught on here with a Croffle festival held last weekend in West Jakarta with 20 brands featuring items such as a pizza Croffle and spicy chicken Croffle. That doesn't sound like breakfast to me. You know, a couple of years ago, if you guys remember, it was the cronut, the cross between the croissant and a donut. Millie, what's the big deal?
That's dangerous territory for me, Dalton, because I'm gluten allergic. So I cannot eat those goodies, no bread, pastries, pasta, nothing.
But as a publisher, as a media publisher, how do these trends pop up so quickly and catch on so fast?
Because gluten, anything made of wheat.
No, I don't mean gluten. I mean the Croffle.
It's addictive. Anything from wheat is addictive, and it's easily caught on. Yes, it's easily caught on. Anything from wheat, beer, bread, pasta, easily caught on because it's very tasty, addictive.
Okay, so you're saying because it tastes good that people line up and queue for these things like they do other trends in Indonesia.
And they are expensive too. and they are also inexpensive.
Inexpensive. Oh, okay. Now, as a business consultant, Linda, you know how huge trends can get here in a hurry, and they fade out just as quickly. Is the Croffle more about hype than it is taste, as Millie contends?
No, it does taste good though, but there's also the hype. So the same thing with cronut. Once I remember it used to be like such a big deal to get cronut from certain places in Singapore, and people would just parade it, on their social media that, oh, flew to Singapore for a business trip, and of course had to make a stop at this place. But then, the minute that some of the smaller, less expensive bakeries in Indonesia managed to do the cronut, the hype is almost gone because everybody can get it, So same thing will happen with the this Croffle thing. It doesn't mean it doesn't taste good. It does. Cronut still tastes good, but the drive to get it dissipated as soon as it became so available, nearby. So what's one of the latest fusion food that I actually received recently? It's the mentai that they do on sushi, right? And now the mentai sauce, they put it on dim sum. It's one of the latest trends. I actually got those twice within a week, from like 2 different people. And it does taste interesting, it's an acquired taste, I suppose. But and I'm assuming if I try to Google it like a year from now, there will be maybe only one place left selling it. So it's just the way it is.
Yeah,
the classics will remain, but the fusion soon will become either become a confusion or just a fun thing, and it will go away.
Yeah, it should be breakfast confusion, as you said. I haven't had the Croffle yet. I like a croissant. I mean, that's fine for me. Why do you have to press it down and make it into tiny squares? I don't get it.
But anything, mentai on anything is delicious.
Okay. It's something you can eat, right?
You should try the dim sum mentai then, Ibu. I got 2 big boxes, like a month ago from 2 different people.
Where from? Do share address and...
Yeah.
I'll find out.
We got to sell an ad for that. Yeah, we don't want to give them free advertising if we don't have to. It is feedback time. Our discussion on alleged animal abuse in Aceh raised a lot of concern. Bia Bella said this on YouTube. Even though they are Muslim, they mustn't do this. But Kanza countered with this. Why do people respect dogs more than humans? If you don't like it in Aceh, don't come here. Here's how to contact us with your feedback. Email at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or comment through our Hot Indonesia or Indonesia Channel Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Final words first to you, Millie.
Yeah. Now that the herd immunity reached, and the government allows people to come back to the office again, I find my own team, they prefer to stay home and work from home, So the next question has arisen. So are office spaces still relevant? Do we still have to go back to return to the 9 to 5? Points to ponder, Dalton.
Yes, you're right, Millie. Final words, Linda.
Rainy season has arrived, and for most Indonesians living in urban centers, it's usually not a good news because we have floods and other problems. Traffic jams. Now that life has returned to almost normal, traffic jams has also returned with vengeance to urban cities in Indonesia. So my only advice is do check on the map, and check the weather reports. And if you can stay home and work from home, as Ibu Mili just mentioned, then probably it's a better idea to survive this coming raining season. Hopefully it's not going to be as gloomy as it was last year, because we were also battling a very worsening pandemic at the same time.
And my final words, as you plan ahead for your holiday events, keep this in mind. If we don't continue to do what we've been doing, travel restrictions will be reimposed and malls and restaurants will be closed again. There is reason to feel positive about the coming new year, but it'll be like the old one if we get careless. So stay healthy. And that is Hot Indonesia for this week. For Millie Lukito and Linda Ibrahim, I'm Dalton Tanonaka. Thank you very much for watching, and please join us again next time.